Saltpeter is an old-timey name for potassium nitrate. Potassium nitrate is a key ingredient in gunpowder. This stuff forms anywhere there is a buildup of feces, urine, decaying matter. There are very few places in Europe where this stuff is naturally occurring, but as it is required for gunpowder, it is essential for war. At first, warring European states tried to manufacture their own. Making your own saltpeter required fermenting human excrement in a big pit for 10 months, and it needed to be stirred continuously. Records show that during the Elizabethan period, there was over 200,000 cesspits across London. This is where saltpeter men with a royal warrant would come into your home and start excavating your toilet. But even with 200,000 toilets dug up, it was not enough to feed the war machine. By 1624, the disdain that Londoners had for these cesspits is dominating the parliamentary records. By 1626, the East India Company appears. Saltpeter is the reason that the British invaded Bengal specifically. The Ganga plain produces saltpeter naturally, without needing to confiscate people's shit and then stir it continuously for 10 months. It naturally occurs here. The area combines all of the chemicals and environmental conditions that you need in one place simultaneously. The Ganga plain has monsoon rain and seasonal flooding. People and their animals, all pissing and shitting and then dying and decaying, have lived with the Ganga River for thousands of years. I know this is kind of gross, but it's how nature works. You've had generation after generation after generation going all the way back to the Indus Valley civilization, pissing and shitting in this river. All of that sinks down and goes into the soil, where bacteria are having a field day. Like the way a dog will roll in fox shit is how bacteria love this water. And as the bacteria do all these people a favour and breaks down all of that excrement, it produces nitrate. The most important part of this, and why the Ganga River is not a stagnant, festy body of water, but is instead the most fertile agricultural region on earth, is because the monsoon rain is repeatedly flushing it. We use nitrates as food fertilizer globally. Yeah, they do come from shit. Isn't nature beautiful? On top of naturally fertilizing the entire area, the monsoon rain lifts and deposits the nitrates on the riverbed. So when the land dries out, you're left with these dissolved salts. This is your saltpeter for harvesting. Gunpowder originated in China. This is actually the earliest known written recipe for gunpowder, and it comes from a Chinese military text that was written in 1044 called Wu Jing Song Ya. So I know that the Chinese had warfare, and I know that the Indians did too. I'd love to know how this transferred across and how the Indians figured out that they could get saltpeter from the Ganga. So if you know more about that, do let me know. Akbar was the Mughal emperor who ruled North India from 1556 to 1605. This document, the Ain-i-Akbari, was the ledger of his court. It includes sections on the arsenal, the matchlocks, the manner of cleaning guns, the rank of guns, on the pay of the matchlock bearers. It describes matchlocks as being in particular favour with Akbar. It explains how gun barrels were made and tested. It says the imperial arsenal contained manufactured, purchased and presented guns, and it lists the pay grades for the matchlock bearers. This is a fully industrialized war machine. This book shows a complete understanding of saltpeter in gunpowder manufacturing. You can get this on the Internet Archive. It reads, saltpeter, which in gunpowder produces the explosive heat, and then it describes saltpeter as saline earth that can be washed, boiled, cleaned and crystallized. The Mughal state under Akbar governed a majority non-Muslim population, but he reduced some taxes for some Hindu elites, and that bound their regional loyalty to his imperial framework. Akbar was still emperor when the East India Trading Company was created in London, but they did not really get a foothold in the country during his rule. What's weird is that he died in 1605. The record says he died of illness, but it also says just before he died, his son rebelled against him. Literally, about 6 months before his father died, Prince Salim, who later ruled under the name Jahangir, set up a rival court to his father and started issuing coins in his own name. I'm going to take this into a part 3 video because this looks like a coup. It looks like exactly what the British Empire do. I'm going to go and find out what the British were doing, whether this man had any white friends. I will be back with part 3. In the meantime, if you have any leads for me, any suggestions, any sources, I have an India channel in my Discord where I'm chatting with people about this stuff and where I'm sharing all my primary source material with everybody in a live open workbook for us all to contribute to. If you're enjoying this content, I would really appreciate it if you could tip me, if you can afford to. The work is independent and it is small tips from lots of people that keep it so. This is funding access to the tools, the materials, the archives, the libraries, everything to actually pull this stuff together. You can tip me as much or as little as you want at buymeacoffee.com/AliMacForever.